Hey, hey.
There's the man.
Look how smooth that was. I think from start to ready, that's got to be about the fastest that we've ever actually gotten everybody on.
I mean,
So, guys,
that was Jamaican bobsled quality right
it
there.
was.
Everybody
It
in
was.
the sled going ready.
Cool runnings.
That's right. Amen.
Absolutely. So, guys, I have an announcement. I haven't shared this with you guys because I tallied it up right before we got started. And across all at Culture of Splife social media, so anything that's tagged at Culture of Splife, we have amassed over 3.3 million views. Now, I'm not splitting hairs on the how close we are from 3.3. Looking at you, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Not so much you there, YouTube. You can definitely. It's funny because we've hit 500,000 views on Instagram, over 500,000 on Instagram, over 3 million on. I believe it's close to 3 million, not over 3 million.
Well over 3 million on Facebook.
Is it over 3 million on Facebook? Okay, so then we would
just
be
between
over,
Jordan and Skiles, we're at 3.1 last I checked, like a week ago.
You're right. So there were then with the 500,000 on Instagram, and then the 200,000 ish on TikTok, we should be at 3.7 million. So my calculations were
getting close to 4 million now.
Yeah,
I think we could probably hit it by next week.
I agree.
Maybe.
So you're talking about all the platforms were close to 4 million?
Yeah.
I don't think so, man, because Deion Sanders had 550,000.
Wow.
So that's
and
already
so we're over
like
4 million.
3.7 just on Facebook.
Yeah. But 3.7 on Facebook, I was thinking it was like 3 point something. So I did the dashboard on Facebook, and I'm going by that, right? It just said 3 million.
I'm going based on the views that it shows that it has.
So if you did your manual calculations, if you did your manual calculations, yours are more up to date than the professional dashboard. But we hit 500,000. We hit 500,000 on Instagram. We haven't had that for sure. Last time we did any kind of a readout, it was like 100,000. It wasn't bad. And then we've got over 100,000 on TikTok. I really can't remember the total. That was probably my bad. So on TikTok, you have to tell it to add all the stuff up, and I didn't tell it until after we had some success on TikTok. So I looked, and it was like 40,000 views, and I'm like, that's not right. But not bad since December, right?
I'll take it for sure.
End of December. It's a lot more successful than I could have ever imagined it being, mainly because of the trivia that we've had. The trivia has been the biggest success.
Day one. A lot of our success is because of day one. Eric Knowlton, who just logged on.
Day one in the house.
Absolutely. I might actually have some stuff posting this week with Eric Knowlton in it. We've gotten a little behind on posting. I was in Las Vegas last week, not for the Pro Bowl. I didn't get that invite. They didn't invite me there, but for something completely unrelated. So yeah. I mean, we've been kicking things off and kind of putting trivia in a funny place. I think we've decided to just go straight out of the gate with the trivia, right?
Let's do it.
All right.
Absolutely.
What do we got?
All right. So I have two more tonight. The first one, and both of these come from my good buddy Brent Keating, who will probably be logging on here soon. And what's great about the trivia, Brent and I have been doing trivia for years and years. And the coolest thing about our I guess our back and forth with trivia is that we never go to where? Google, right? We only use our brain, and then when we can't come up with it, then we'll ask for hints. Hints are okay. Everybody needs a hint. So even if you go to a sports bar and do trivia there, they may give you a hint if it's really difficult. And as our listeners know, all we do is what? Difficult trivia. So it's okay. You can even comment and ask for a hint. Maybe I'll give you a hint. So here we are, the second segment of Who's Trivia? Uncle Joe's Trivia. That's right. Uncle Joe's Trivia. So this trivia, like I said, comes from Brent Keating in Plano, Texas, Highland Lakes, whatever. I don't know anything about Texas, but it's close to Dallas. The first question.
I know Plano from Friday Night Lights.
There you go. So the first question tonight is, there is only one former Charlotte Hornet whose jersey was retired by the Charlotte Hornets. Name that player.
That
should be good.
Tough.
Yeah, this should be good.
That was tough. I just can't wait to see all the guesses and the comments. I'm the most excited about this trivia question that I've been about a trivia question, even posting it after the podcast.
Yeah, and to the point that that Crago made earlier about not Googling this and going through the process of figuring it out. In fact, even it could be, and in a lot of cases has been, where people are starting a dialogue with each other in comments to discover the answers to the trivia. And pre-game, me and Drew, we literally collabed to figure this out.
It was tough. In all fairness, I had a week head start. I had 1 week's head start on you for the retired jersey. And I say that it was like 2 weeks for real that I started on this one, and what you said clued me in. Like my thought process was there, and we got it.
Yes,
and I had a head start.
But it was a collaborative effort, which was the coolest part about this. Which is this is what makes this a fun trivia deal.
Definitely, day one. That's not correct.
Yeah, Larry Johnson is not the correct answer. So,
but I mean, it's one of the first things everybody thinks about is grandmama.
That's exactly right. So I guess a good hint would be it's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Well, one hint is it's not Larry Johnson.
Yep.
So.
That's right. All right. So y'all ready for number 2?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So as we all know, Tom Brady was the 199th pick in the NFL draft. There were 6 quarterbacks that were drafted before Tom Brady.
Yes.
6 of them. Name those 6 quarterbacks.
There's a couple of these here that just like, what?
I feel like that one's way harder than, because it's written in stone now, the destiny of the 199th pick of the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knows how this story ends. And look, I'm going to tell you something. If he would have had 3 seasons deep into his career, and I mean fell off the face of the planet, he still would have been the most popular quarterback from that draft class. Yeah. And I can't even remember what he did for the first 3 seasons of his career, but still the most popular out of all of them.
Oh, you know what? I can.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt you do.
He beat us in the AFC Championship.
Yes. Yeah. I finally watched, the 30 for 30 talking about the Tuck rule.
Oh, did you?
And what's really crazy about it, if you really think about if that call is called the way it should have been called, is Tom Brady even the starter for the Patriots the next year? Or does Drew Bledsoe get his job back? And if Drew Bledsoe gets his job back, are we even having the conversations that we're having right now about Tom Brady?
Wow.
No, I don't think so, because I feel like Drew Bledsoe, there would have been some longevity in that system that he had, I think he was good enough. Because look, I don't think that Tom Brady was super special early on like that. I just don't think he was, and I don't think I'm not saying that Drew Bledsoe wasn't. Drew Bledsoe was one of my favorite quarterbacks, by the way. I mean, think about the name, like right there. But if Drew Bledsoe gets his start, like if he gets the job back, I don't think we have the same conversations that we do. Because if Tom Brady's not in that system, I don't think he's the quarterback that we see today. Just simply.
I mean, the lasting memory of him will be fumbling in the divisionals, and Drew Bledsoe was a cornerstone that got the Patriots relevant again to being a playoff team. I think at that point, I mean, it was only the Super Bowl that gave them the justification to move on from Bledsoe.
Tom Brady,
right?
Drew Bledsoe to Ben Coates, right?
Yep.
Rod Day One said, "Bite your tongue."
But the universe lined up, and it's all history here at this point. And obviously, there's no denying Tom Brady as the greatest of all time. Although that 30 for 30 really brought some things into context where people don't really think about if that call isn't made.
I'm going to have to watch that. I saw that they're releasing the Bullies of Baltimore today. I'm sure you're going to tune into that one.
I did start watching that one.
So about, obviously Tom Brady, that was a good time for a Tom Brady trivia because, of course, what happened this past week. But Tom Brady has retired for the second time. His very emotional, non-emotional monologue on the beach, where that is some very expensive sand down there.
Yeah.
Cost you $100 a bottle.
$100,000. And I actually went to eBay today. I was talking to Katie about this afternoon, and I said, let me just go to eBay and see if it's really there. Because I think the guy was charging, like the opening bid that he started was like $487 or some random number like that. And now it's gone to over 100,000. So I did the search on eBay, and there are pages of people that are trying to sell the sand. They have the view of the hotels or condos behind where he was, and the opening bids there are no bids, but they're asking for 2,500, 10,000. Copycat.
Look, that's nonsense. Okay, I mean, like, you can literally go to Israel and see where Jesus Christ himself walked on the earth, and it's not going to cost you that much money. Like, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm sorry. If you're not a Christian, you got to give him props at the very least. Just like if you're not a Tom Brady fan, you got to give some kind of magical props to this sand like that people are selling. But that's a little fanatical. I mean, if it was Tom Brady's rookie card, I could see $100,000, but I'm not spinning it. But
we were talking about if it was 40 years ago and cassette tapes were still big, you would have some people going, I'm going to sell you this tape of the sounds of the ocean behind Tom Brady as he made his retirement, which we obviously know that would just be a blank tape.
Some nonsense is what that is.
Everybody's cashing in.
I just, like, hey, look, I mean, celebrity status is cool. Like, this past week I was in Vegas, right? RG3 was in Vegas. I told you guys that, some of my friends had a picture made with him. If I had the opportunity, would I have had my picture made with RG3? Absolutely, I would have, and it would have not cost me a dime, and that would have been that. I would have sent my wife a picture and been like, hey, look who's here, and she would have been like, I don't know. Is that some dude you work with? But at the very end of the day, it would have meant something a little bit to me. Now, my friend, who I hope is listening to this podcast, he likes to tune in after the fact. He mentioned the fact that he was a Cowboys fan to RG3. That was a dumb move. I've told him this already. He was thinking Baylor, Texas, like that was his mindset, was the college thing. And I'm like, but it's the Cowboys, man. Come on.
Maybe he
So
grew
messed
up a
there.
Cowboys fan, but once he became a Redskin, there were no Cowboy fans in his house, I'm sure.
Right. just like, just like old Aaron Rodgers grew up a 49ers fan. Not a 49ers fan anymore, for sure. Although he has given us so many good wins in the playoffs that I still think he's a fan. But
so Drew, what you're telling me is the next Christmas gift that you give him is going to be the book How to Win Friends and Influence People.
right, right. I think that's a good
that book's
one.
Still a thing, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. I still have a copy of it in the digital format, so I think I'll just ship it over his way.
Get it over to him. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna chat about that. That was good fun though. Yeah, it was crazy though. Staying where we stayed at, there was a few celebrity appearances. Britney Spears was a celebrity appearance.
That still counts as a celebrity appearance.
Hey, I don't know why she was there. Honestly, no clue. Aside from hanging out, being crazy, the Grammys weren't there. I don't think anyway. Pretty sure it was just the Pro Bowl. Don't really know where the Grammys were.
I thought she had like some ridiculous contract where she was playing at the same place like so many times a week or something like that.
Could be.
We need
hey, you could
a
get
statistician, a researcher to be checking this stuff since we're live, but I'm almost positive I heard, and it was a ridiculous number too, when she was in her conservatorship. I don't remember what the number was, but.
So it was Oops, I Did It Again personified?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you couldn't get near her, man. People were trying to sneak pictures, and security was taking them down and stuff. Like, I don't even for real know if it was her or not. Honestly, people tell me it was, but I don't believe them.
So speaking of Britney Spears, y'all remember when she kissed Madonna on stage? Did y'all happen to see Madonna last night?
No, I didn't.
No.
Whoa. Let's just say that there are a lot of memes and a lot of comments about the way Madonna looks now. Oh, yeah. Yes. Really, really bad.
It's
yeah.
like the thing about the Grammys is are there bets on the side about who can be the most bizarre?
Exactly. Well, she's had so much plastic surgery. Her skin glows. It's the most amazing thing. She looks like a doll, really. Because she has to be 64, 65?
In fact, she'll turn 65 this year because she was born in 58.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, look her up, Drew. Tell me what you see.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Might have to hold that one up here.
So while I'm Googling Madonna and her plastic face, what else happened at the Grammys that was interesting? Did you guys enjoy it?
I didn't see. We'll let Rod talk since he saw most of this. I only saw God Did. That 8-minute song.
Yeah, you told us about that.
DJ Khaled, my
what
old
did you
friend
just make me
from
Google?
middle school, DJ Khaled.
That's right.
On the stage with the likes of John Legend, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z. It was very interesting. Definitely not the hip hop that I grew up with, but there she is.
Oh boy.
I'm disturbed by this.
That's like Miss Potato Head. I mean, what? Really?
Wow. They were saying she's starting to look a lot like the cat lady, which I didn't even know who the cat lady was, but there was a side-by-side, and her lips are about this wide now. And yeah, she's getting there.
So yeah, we didn't even make it to didn't even get close to half of it. And I think, we talked about it. It's there's not a lot you have to do to win a Grammy anymore. Especially not from when we grew up. I mean, I think Drew, you had even talked about just the whole fact of If you look at Rolling Stone's all-time greatest, and it's just, I mean, it's literally now just who can be the most bizarre, and it really doesn't take just a ton of effort I mean, you have a pulse in the industry, and you're going up against people. It's just like, what is this? And I mean, anything that wins now is just like, if this were 25 years ago, this doesn't even get nominated in a state, let alone on the Grammys.
Well, look, we got to see, you know, okay, so every decade, in my opinion, has the best and the worst music, right? Every decade has that. And like, you know, us being of the age where we could purchase our own music in the 90s, you know, of course, that's going to be the decade that we're partial to. But even the Rolling Stone agreed with us, and you could probably say that the article was written that you referenced by people that are close to our age, because they had some of the best singers ever.
Yes.
Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey on there, Freddie Mercury, all of those folks in the 90s, just amazing music was being produced. And then we got to the end of the 90s, and it kind of was like, okay, yeah, this isn't the early 90s anymore. The music did become, I feel like it's our fault for even buying those albums, guys. It's our fault for buying albums in the late 90s. We basically made the internet shock value, you know, music of what it is today, because I don't think you have to have the talent. No. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's some entertainers out there that are good entertainers, you know, like I'll give you a Beyonce, a Katy Perry, I'll go Harry Styles, even though I don't think he's that great of a singer. I think he's a little digital to me, but I still think they're good musicians. Now, in 50 years and 100 years, are we going to be writing stories about Harry Styles and how he changed music like we do the likes of Chuck Berry, you know, or Elvis Presley? Absolutely not. We're not going to have those. So for those guys that were winning the Grammys back then, yeah, they were something different. And I hate to be that old codger, right, that goes on the rant.
$10 word.
You get off my lawn, you know, but it's true. I just don't think that, I hope, this is honest to God, what I hope is that the 2020s started out with the bad, and we're gonna finish strong, right? I mean, that's what I'm hoping.
You're right. I mean, it's literally like playing in the NFC South, winning a Grammy,
AFC South.
Yeah, or the AFC. I was about to say. I mean, no offense. If you're Beyonce right now, it's like being the Eagles, but you're in the NFC South.
Right.
It's. I mean, you know, it's you roll out of bed and you got it. That's the only thing you got to do.
And I honestly think that that's contributed in that Rolling Stone article that we're talking about. That contributed to some people that are newer that were ranked up as high as they are, right? Because like they don't have the competition. Like, I mean, I'm just throwing out there, you put Lady Gaga voice for voice against Alicia Keys, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, any of those people, Lady Gaga is coming in last place.
Correct.
Now,
it's Boise
you put
State.
her in the mix with people today. She's a good singer. She puts on a heck of a show. And you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you don't have those people, Lady Gaga doesn't even exist today. You know, there's that aspect that we won't even touch.
Well,
but I
mean, it's more, music today is not necessarily about voice, right? It's about stage presence.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga goes to some award ceremony 5 or 6 years ago dressed in raw meat. You know, that's the kind of thing that people are interested in now. And it's not so much about what they're actually singing. I mean, you mentioned Mariah Carey. What did Mariah Carey do? Stood on a stage and just sang her head off. Whitney Houston, same thing. They didn't have to do all these shenanigans like the Katy Perrys do with, you know, things spinning around and, you know, all this sort of thing.
And they literally were going against each other.
Exactly.
And
I mean, I mean, like it really meant something to win a Grammy back then. Like you really had to
Right.
work.
And the crazy thing was, though, is the only thing that we thought about when we saw like a Mariah Carey on stage was how much weight has she gained this year? Like from her last performance last year. Like that was the shock value that we had.
Right.
Like we didn't give a crap. She could still sing. It was great. I mean, once she got a little later in her career, you know, your voice deteriorates. I get it. I'm not even going to hold that against her, you know. But like that was our shock value.
No,
was,
completely.
Ooh,
Yeah.
she gained 5 pounds this year. Let's write articles about it in the newspapers. And that's all we had.
Yeah.
But we were doing it based 100% off talent. But you know, guys, honestly, we're a little hypocritical to say that because you know, thanks to this whole social media world, you know, we're at 4 million views on a podcast that truly has zero equipment. Right. we're literally 3 dudes with an idea because we can base a podcast off of this social media quick hit culture of, you know, what are these guys saying? Let me type things at them and, you know, go about my life. So, you know, I mean, sure, you have the downside of the fact that the Grammys are ruined, but you also have the plus side of the culture of Splife exists now. So
that's true.
Because
that's
nobody
right.
has attention spans over 9 seconds.
That's correct.
Speaking of attention spans over 9 seconds, that's what I was expecting I was going to have watching the Pro Bowl. But I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. How about y'all?
You know what? There's almost like a strategy to it here now because you've got people like Tyreek Hill as rushers and stuff like that. I mean, like so people are getting a little more creative with how to strategize and be effective. I do like that.
It reminds me of like, what was it, 4 years ago when they throw in Richard Sherman at a wideout and they do a end around with him and he gets ran down by the corner going, I've always told you you're so slow.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
even remember who it was that chased him down. But of course, you know, that was towards the end of Richard Sherman's career. So he can be slow and you know, use his brain to make the big plays.
That's true.
But yeah, it was honestly, like the flag football aspect. I'm with you, Josh. I thought it was going to be crap. They weaved all the other sporting stuff that we're used to out of a Pro Bowl weekend inside there to distract me from the fact that I was watching, a flag football game. Honestly, like I kind of enjoyed it. It was on from start to finish in my house. I can't say I watched the whole thing. My neighbor came up and, had some gifts for the kids for Valentine's Day. So, I stepped outside and chatted with the neighbors for a little while. So I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch the start and the finish. The kids were in and out. The kids really enjoyed it, which going back to the Grammys, right? That's a thing of our past was the Pro Bowl. Like it was for the kids. It's always been for the kids, right?
Right.
It's never for the adults.
Yeah, I mean,
always for the kids.
There was only one thing I was hoping to see in it, and I was hoping to see Zeke Elliott be a center again. That's the only thing that was missing.
He wouldn't have got destroyed this go
for
around.
just one snap, right?
Man, I hope he comes back next year just to redeem himself at the center position.
I was so confused. I was watching, I don't even remember. I didn't see how it was set up. 3 halves, I guess is what it was. Like 3, 2. Yeah.
It was 2 games.
2 halves, 3 games. 3 games, 2 games? I think 3 games.
2 games.
2 games.
So there was a full game and then another game that they split at halftime.
Okay. Well, when I was watching it, I thought it was quarters. So the NFC threw an interception at the end of what I thought was the first quarter.
It was like,
and I was about throwing tomatoes at my TV when they came back from commercial break and the NFC had the ball because it was actually the half. And so the NFC got the ball in the second half.
Yeah, I believe that was the Geno Smith interception that you saw.
It was, yes. And because then the NFC got an interception. I was like, wait a minute. Why did they get to keep the ball? And then I found out that it was a half. So.
It's those darn AAU rules.
But Drew, after we talked, I went back and watched the end of the game to see what Peyton Manning was so upset about. Do you know what he was upset about?
What wasn't it the runoff? Wasn't that what the deal was?
No. So the NFC got a first down with 3 seconds left that made it first and goal from like the half-yard line. 3 seconds left. And he got upset because Kirk Cousins knelt on the ball, victory formation. And he came out on the field and he was like, no, he has to throw the ball. He has to throw the ball. I mean, is that not the most Peyton Manning thing you've ever heard? 3 seconds on first and goal?
Look, it's Peyton Manning. So, you know, he got beat by Eli. You know, that's a big deal there because it was for all the marbles, the end of the game, right? It was that one play, I guess, would have mattered. But it was just funny to me because during the halftime, which it wasn't actually a halftime show, I think it was between the two games. I don't even remember. You know, you had the guys come in and you had like the Diggs brothers hanging out together, you know, and like they're talking about the halftime show and like, you know, it was good fun, right? And then there's other people, AFC, NFC combined, and you got Peyton over there going over game plan in the middle of halftime, and I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like for real trying to win this.
Hey, look, Omaha.
And keep in mind at that point for the whole weekend, he's up by like 6, I think. So like, if anybody should have been freaking out, it should have been Eli, but you got everybody not taking it serious, and then Peyton Manning over there like, yeah, we're gonna win. Which my wife did point out something this weekend that I have not noticed, and I'm gonna plant this in. And this may have to go out to all of social media because this is so important. But my wife's watching the Pro Bowl. She says to me, Peyton got the forehead, but Eli got the nose. And I'm like, interesting. Yeah, so neither one of them have stopped growing. Peyton's forehead and Eli's nose. They're just still constantly growing. Hopefully they'll find a cure for that before too much longer, because I'm sure Peyton can't find a hat to fit anymore. So,
wow. So all in all, I would say I'll definitely watch it again next year. It was very competitive. They were trying really hard. Minka made an unbelievable tackle. Oh, Katie chiming in here.
Don't diss on my boy Peyton.
Yes, that is her crush. You can't mess with Peyton. Not at all. Not at all.
Having a crush on Peyton Manning, man, that's
she's probably going to chime in again after that.
She likes his personality.
That's what she's into. Definitely the personality. Look, I can go for days. Making fun.
More Asian pop.
I've been doing it for years.
Peyton drinks Pepsi.
For years. He drinks it with his chicken parm sandwiches. Hey, Peyton Manning isn't a Pepsi commercial.
Hey, Brent, who do you want us to talk about? Name an aging star. We'll see if we can talk about
one.
I'm sure Rod can. I probably can't. Drew probably can too.
Aging pop star talk. Gosh,
I mean,
I wouldn't even know where to
that's the most
begin.
open-ended thing like around right now.
I know.
Like,
it is. It's sad to me. It really is sad.
We need to add Drew Carey as the host for this. You know, this now impromptu podcast.
Right. We're just taking ideas from the comment section at this point. Just gonna run with it.
So
Peyton drinks Pepsi. That's got to be the best insult I've ever seen in
you
my
were
life.
in Vegas last week, Drew. You probably like walked past like at least 5 aging pop stars while you were there.
I probably did, and I didn't even know them. It's just, you know, like, wow, that person has a bunch of plastic on their face and a crew around them. Maybe I should have my picture made.
I mean,
come to find out, it's just some mascot, you know? Like, I thought it was, you know, somebody over there. I thought it was Madonna, but no, come to find out it was actually like, just some statue.
I mean, you got several of them that have been doing their greatest hits for like the last 20 years.
It's bad when Madonna walks into Madame Tussauds and you can't tell what's the statue and what's her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I did take a couple of selfies with statues. Maybe I need to revisit those and make sure that there's not anybody famous in there. It's like maybe that wasn't Joan of Arc. That's not who that was on that statue at all.
Speaking of aging stars, I don't know. I'm sure y'all heard about Kyrie Irving yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving. What do you think about Kyrie Irving, Drew?
So, well, okay. So you have to think of any trade that goes down in two ways, right? You have to think of it from okay. In his scenario, I'm going to think of it from three ways. One way is Kyrie Irving. What does he have to gain out of this? And, I think he comes out on top as the big winner in the trade overall. Because, let's just face facts. That was the ridiculousness. The second thing you have to think of is the team that he left, right? Are they gonna hurt? And then the team that he goes to, is that gonna help? How many picks did it end up being?
It was, I believe, two picks.
And then
a first
a lot of their
draft pick and like 29 or something. I mean, the draft picks are so far away. We're going to be watching the draft, and it's going to say from the Mavericks, and we're going to say, when did the Nets trade with the Mavericks? Oh, in 2023.
Like literally, like some of them are probably in my youngest daughter's class right now.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be the picks. She's in like the second grade.
So this is when Drew plays Madden, these picks. So here's my goal. When I play Madden, I try to pick up every talent I can off of waivers and release anybody that's beneath them. Like my 49ers no longer look like the 49ers at all anymore. And then my goal is to leverage every human that I have for draft picks. That's what I do. And so maybe that's the logic here. Like, because I don't care what year it's going to be, I'm going to eventually find talent, and my team's going to be okay. Unfortunately, though, for the Mavericks and the Nets, both in this scenario, they don't have the difficulty set to easy like I do whenever I play Madden and get rid of all of my stars for draft picks. So, I think Kyrie is the winner here, and I don't know who comes out worse in this. I really don't.
So y'all need to look out. There's a guy, I believe his name is Cam Thomas, the first-round draft pick from LSU, and this is his second game in a row scoring more than 40 points since the Kyrie Irving trade. So I saw,
and he was a guy that could really fill it up for LSU. I think it was the COVID year.
Yes.
Right. He was there. Yes, he could really fill it up for him. So
because I saw there was this picture of all these players, because more players scored 40 points in one day than in all of NBA history a few days ago. And I noted, obviously Damian Lillard, people that and then there was this Brooklyn net. It's like, who is that guy? Well, I was watching a little bit of the Clippers game tonight, and he had 44, and it said back-to-back. I was like, oh, that's the Brooklyn net that scored 40 the other night. So I didn't even know anything about him till now.
So it's like, has there been a team like ever where there was no Kyrie controversy? And I think that answer is a resounding no, right? So, it really is the over and under on how many games is it going to take for him to have a controversy where he doesn't want to play with this team anymore, or he's into it with his teammates or the organization. And then, of course, it's kind of one of those things for Dallas right now where on the surface it's like, oh, there's Luka and there's Kyrie. This is awesome, but Luka is ball dominant. It's Luka's team. you're going to bring a guy that's perpetually unhappy and ball dominant to a team that has a leader that's established and is ball dominant. So it's kind of like, okay, how's this going to work?
And you traded Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. I looked at their stats, their last game as Mavericks, and Dorian Finney-Smith had 18 points. He was a plus 10, and Dinwiddie had 25 points. I mean, why would you trade players that know their role on the team?
You can't ask for better role players than this.
Exactly. And bring on a guy who's going to need to get his 30 or he's going to pout in the corner.
Yes.
Or make some comment and bring negativity to the organization.
The only thing I can think of that Mark Cuban is thinking here in this scenario is that no publicity is bad publicity.
Yes.
Right? Because, I mean, let's just face facts. Had this not been a thing, we wouldn't even be talking about the Mavericks this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I mean, they're one of those teams that historically isn't going to be the first name that comes out of your mouth, and it's not the last name that comes out of your mouth, you know, and that's what his whole idea was. I'm going to make it fun to come watch a game here, and I'm going to put butts in the seats, right? Because he was, you know, you all know the story. He's a long-time season ticket holder, box seats, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and he was like, I could do better than this, and then 2 years later, he ends up owning the team. So surely he's reverting back to those roots in this scenario. I hope.
Yeah,
I've got nothing.
It's the quest to no longer be mid.
Right?
Exactly. I mean, think about it, guys. He's had LeBron James. He's had Jason Tatum. He's had Kevin Durant and James Harden at the same time, kind of thing. And he's never happy.
Yep.
It's amazing. I mean, he wanted to be a Celtic for life. Remember that? He said that in front of the crowd. I want to be here for life. And then first day of free agency, he signs with the Brooklyn Nets. What? And he and Durant are going to combine forces and be great. And then they win, 8-9 games in a row after Nash gets fired? I mean, they were one of the best teams in the East. And now Durant's hurt. Sprained knee or something. He'll be back for the playoffs. Now
but I heard
he
was really toxic with the Celtics, though. I heard he was very toxic in the locker room.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
We've got
I mean, you're talking about a guy who was mad that LeBron James was going back to the Cavaliers. Every other player in the NBA would have loved to play with LeBron James coming back from the Heat. And you got a guy who's been out of college. You'll have to check my stats, Rod. 5 years?
Who's that?
Opportunity to play with the best player on the planet in 2016. Because he came out in 2011, right?
Yeah, because and here's the thing about it at Duke. Here's what's funny there. He wasn't able to finish the season at Duke.
Oh.
Did he even play? Everybody will say something about the foot or whatever else, but it's a pattern, okay?
Right. Exactly. And all we're talking about are things on the basketball court.
Yes.
And the locker room. We're not even talking about the stupid stuff that comes out of his mouth in press conferences. And then not admitting that he does it. You know?
That's the whole NBA now, though.
Yeah.
The earth is flat.
The NBA now is the National Opinion Association, because every player just likes to get the microphone and give their opinions. It's a sad day, honestly, for them because of that. And again, I don't even have to single out a single player here, because you could name 10 of them that do it on a regular basis. Now if an NBA player is talking about basketball, I'm going to listen, right? Because, they know something about that. But, whenever they start jumping out and giving, all this nonsense that we get on a day-to-day basis out of, a good old NBA press conference, I'm not, I'm lost, right?
Kind of like the
I'm
Grammys
just-
right now. I mean, it's
Exactly.
the same thing in the NBA. Who can be the most bizarre and say the dumbest thing?
Yeah, and look, here's the problem with that, though, is the fact that Dennis Rodman has already existed, and y'all aren't even beating him at his own game.
Nope.
At least
Right.
the Grammys, I can expect something crazy to happen. It's an escalation process. It gets worse every year. It's nonsense. But Dennis Rodman was the pinnacle, and everybody's been trying to chase him ever since. And, in retrospect, I kind of liked Dennis Rodman at the time, when he was doing all the nonsense. But everybody else, maybe, again, I'm that old man at this point that, is waving my fist at these guys. But, it's not the entertainment that it needs to be. Start trash talking each other. Talk crap. Larry Bird was entertaining as crap whenever we heard all the things that he said. Do that. That's going to get butts in the seats. I don't give a crap any of your opinions if it's outside of basketball. And just for the record, since y'all aren't addressing the elephant in the room that is Katie Crego in the comments down at the bottom, it is a fact Peyton Manning does drink Pepsi. He's on a commercial doing so.
She said this is not true.
It's true.
won't
It's on the
accept
freaking Frito-Lay's commercial. The Lay's potato
Frito-Lay's
chips.
commercial. Look it up, Katie Crego.
They ripped the front of the house off to drag Eli Manning to the Super Bowl. In a bus.
So maybe he just drank it that one time.
Oh, he's sponsored by Lay's. Look, Pepsi has it in their contracts. When you're sponsored, you can't be caught in public drinking another drink.
No, it's all about
There
Pepsi.
you go. They one enjoyed that.
It's facts. He's spitting facts here. He does drink Pepsi. It is factual. If I had a picture-in-picture to put a video up, I would do it now, but I'm not that fancy. So,
She has already fact-checked you, and indeed, you are correct. Yeah,
telling you. Yeah, because Lay's and Pepsi are owned by the same people, right?
Yes.
The same folks that own Taco Bell.
Yep.
Indeed.
There you go.
So we'll just have to see how long Kyrie lasts in Dallas. I just feel so bad for Luka Doncic because you have arguably the best player in the world in Luka Doncic, and they won't put talent around him. You can't just have one guy.
Gotta have a sideshow.
Exactly. And we were talking in pregame about how the Knicks thought, oh, we can add a bunch of scorers and this is going to work great. We'll get Chris Childs and Allen Houston from Detroit, Larry Johnson from Charlotte. Well, we already have Patrick Ewing and Starks. We're going to score 150 points a game. But they forget there's only one ball. And that's the same thing that's going to happen here. Before you know it, Luka and Kyrie are going to be going back and forth at each other. And I mean, Luka is a team player, but the Mavericks need Luka to be the best player in the world because Kyrie is not that anymore. Not even close. Never has been. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Most likely he won't be around when the playoffs hit. He'll do something dumb to not be available.
Wow.
That's
there you go.
You heard it here first.
Yes. Let's put that on a Facebook reel or something. See if we can make that go viral, Rod. Shout out to you, Kyrie. Can you make it to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Playoffs?
Nope.
I mean, this is like going to be like this. I mean, it's like Celebrity Jeopardy here with him. Like you're coming in like at the All-Star break to a team, and we're counting on it you not making it to the playoffs. It's literally like I remember the episode of Celebrity Jeopardy where the category was things that end in "erple." You know, I mean, and then it was like this color ends in "erple," and then the answer was light "erple." I mean, you know, it was.
Oh man! Oh wow!
I mean, it's Celebrity Jeopardy getting Kyrie to finish a season that he only has to finish half of the season.
Flipping over to the other show, Wheel of Fortune. Did y'all see the college kid that got the answers wrong on Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah,
he messed up like 3 times, but the main one, he already had all of the letters up there. All he had to do was read it. and he read Achilles as Achilles.
Yeah.
Achilles, yes. And he had like $4 million.
$4 million.
All you had to do was just be able to read. Reading is fundamental. Are you kidding? I mean, I watched that and I'm like, are you kidding me? Somebody's gonna give me $4 million just to be able to read? I mean,
foreign language,
all
Rod.
take that.
This is a word you've been saying since 6th grade when you first studied mythology.
Or if you've been playing basketball.
Title I kids will take this deal.
Or if you've been playing basketball, right? Like, I don't want to tear my Achilles. That's what sent me away from
nobody says I don't want to tear my what was it he said again?
Achilles. Well, like
I tore my Achilles.
Even as a skateboarder growing up, I didn't play basketball, but you know what I saw guys do on the vert ramp? They busted their Achilles.
Yeah. I mean, well, we already know reading is his Achilles heel.
Right.
I mean,
that's got to be Brad Waite. That's got to be Brad
Waite
Waite on the show. Give us a comment, Brad. Logging on as your wife. I appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the show.
I mean, you don't ever live that down. Like, what happened when he went back home? Like, how do you even go back home?
Right. So
that's worse than Chris Webber calling the timeout when he didn't have one.
Yeah. In a championship game at that.
Exactly. I was actually just talking about that this weekend. Where do you think Michigan would be had he not called that timeout and they found a way to beat North Carolina? I doubt they would be 12-10 with Juwan Howard coaching them.
Yeah, no.
So
y'all, we're getting all off script tonight. Let's go.
We are. It's bad. I've even got one for you guys. So I don't know if y'all heard the boom like earlier a second ago while we're talking. So you guys know one of my New Year's resolutions was to lose a little bit of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, my fingers have gotten so skinny that my wedding ring can fall off my hand now. And it's tungsten, so it's heavy, right? And I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and I just do like, you know, in my lap, I kind of do this little motion right here because, you know, I try not to talk with my hands in front of the camera, so I talk with them down below. And when I did, it just flew off my hand and then landed. I found it, I see it, but it's not here anymore. So positive feedback on that New Year's resolution. I am losing weight. So
there you go. There you go.
They have to get a new wedding band or something. But
so while we're talking about our New Year's resolutions, I was pretty upset because I hadn't started my New Year's resolution yet.
Oh yeah.
And as you all know, one of my New Year's resolutions was to read the Bible 365 days. And so I was really upset. I went into the Bible app and I saw I was a quitter on January 26th of 2022. So I'm only like, well, I guess it's more now, but when I looked, I was only 5 days behind. There you go.
You can make that up. Dude,
That's it. Just make it up.
That's right.
Wait, look at the bright side.
This.
You went more than 21 days, and that created a habit.
Yeah,
and then it was those last 5. I was like, I'm out.
Gonna come to fruition at some point. That habit will.
I mean, that might be 26 more days than Kyrie plays for the Mavericks.
Wouldn't that be crazy if he comes out?
Kyrie.
What's that?
I hope he's watching this. Or finds this somewhere.
Wouldn't that be crazy if he comes out and just says, I retire?
But would it be shocking, though?
No.
I don't think it would.
He would just be like, hey, look, I just wanted the Nets to trade me. I didn't really want to play for anybody else.
Either that or he's going to tell everybody in Dallas how he wants to play with Boston.
Yeah.
But how about
you guys aren't LeBron. I specifically said I wanted to play with LeBron again.
How about the owner of the Nets? I'm going to take my kickball and go home. Did you see the offers that he had from the Phoenix Suns and the LA Lakers? but he knew that Kyrie would want to go to one of those two
Correct.
teams. So he traded him to the Mavericks for nothing. Unbelievable. So I'm sure a lot of people are tuning in today because they're looking for one Patrick Hape. Everybody knows Patrick Hape, right?
Yeah.
Shout out in the comments if you know who Patrick Hape is.
Man,
We don't want to steal his thunder too much, but Patrick Hape will definitely be with us next week. He was supposed to be with us this past week, and something came up, but then lo and behold, we had technical difficulties. Shout out to Facebook, but everything's working now. So Patrick has assured me that he will be available next Monday. So I'm sorry for everybody who's tuned in right now, maybe 2 people at the moment, but they probably left because Patrick wasn't here. So rest assured, Patrick will be here next week.
and we're going to blow our numbers out of the water with him.
Exactly right. No doubt. And guys, on that note, I think the reason why we might be having some struggle with live viewers is we don't have our time. You know what I mean? Like we've had some Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, some Tuesdays, some Mondays, and that's just life, listeners. We're all dads, and family comes first.
Yeah.
So that's how it's going to continue to be. So tune into the Facebook page. I always write on there when we're going to be live. Yeah. So it's kind of a surprise for you, but our families come first.
A surprise like that.
That's right. When we got Rod's got a phenom, so she's got practices, she's got training, all this stuff. No, Patrick Hape does not drink Pepsi. There's no way. There's no way that Patrick Hape drinks Pepsi.
She's not going to let it go. And when you get off of here, Craigo, you're not going to hear the end of this.
But he will be with us next week, and he will let us know next week if he drinks Pepsi.
That's going to be the first question.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In fact, I'm going to text him and tell him that we didn't air the show tonight, so he doesn't go listening to it. So he has no clue that we're talking about him like this. And then we'll just ask him if he drinks Coke or Pepsi.
Speaking of questions, Craigo, trivia.
Is it time?
What we got?
Time? Okay. All right. So give us a comment if you're watching right now. We can see there are a couple of you out there. A couple have come in and out. And I'm going to ask the trivia question one more time and give the people that are online at this moment an opportunity to answer.
There we go.
So the first question was, there is only one jersey that has been retired by the Charlotte Hornets for a player who played for the Charlotte Hornets. So as we all know, Bill Russell's jersey numbers retired across the NBA, but this NBA player actually played for the Charlotte Hornets. What is the name of that player?
See what we get comments. Anybody?
Spoiler alert, as you're typing Alonzo Mourning, it is not Alonzo Mourning.
Not Alonzo Mourning. That would have taken you a long time to type unless you just went with Zoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We established earlier, no grandmama.
That's right. We'll give you a little bit of time to think. But remember, if you're tuning in late, this is Uncle Joe's Trivia, and Uncle Joe doesn't cheat.
Muggsy Bogues.
I like that. I like that guess. Day one.
Good guess, though.
Brent Keating.
Bobcats.
Y'all know Brent Keating. He's the one that came with this.
Right.
He was actually at the Charlotte Hornets game a couple weeks ago, maybe last week. And Drew and I just happened to be talking when we were trying to get through these Facebook issues. And Brent hit me with this trivia question. So he said, Bobcats are allowed.
Yes.
That may or may not be a hint. I don't know. Okay. Well, while you're thinking about that, I'll give you the second one. We all know that Tom Brady was the 199th pick in the 2000 NFL draft. There were 6 quarterbacks that were drafted before Tom Brady. Name those 6 quarterbacks. And again, don't be Googling. Just use
test yourself.
brain. Just use
that
your
one
brain.
would be tough to Google. I mean, you could Google the whole draft, but you got picks 1 to 199 to go through.
That's true. That is very true. Well, you could probably Google 6 quarterbacks drafted before Tom Brady, and I bet it's
Maybe.
answer there.
I'm thinking looking it up on Wikipedia, right?
Right.
Like you might could get a table that you can
Yeah, but
sort the
then,
quarterbacks.
I mean, even if you do some searches like that, it could come back where you get people that were like not even drafted the same year he was drafted. That could come up in that search.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, those kind of searches you do have to be dangerous are a little bit dangerous, because there was one trivia question that we had that we may or may not have done yet, so I won't talk too much on it. And if you Google it, it gives you the wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all remember when Sinbad died on Wikipedia.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
Right.
that?
Right.
Shout out to Sinbad. What's he up to?
Oh, no, man.
Maybe he's listening.
That's right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, make a reel. Tag him. Let's
Or,
go.
yeah,
Sinbad.
somebody can go in the comment section, or at least by next week. Let's find out what Sinbad's doing. We'll have that answer next week.
That's right. That's right. Our goal is to bring celebrities and famous people back into the spotlight.
That's right.
That's what we're gonna do. Come on,
Right.
Not just aging pop stars.
That's right.
All right, let's reel it in.
I saw it, Brent. I see you out there, man.
Hey, we asked you to come up with an aging pop star. Give us an aging pop star. It's not too late.
Let's reel it in. What do you guys want to do next? Do y'all want to give the answers to the trivia, or do you want your Super Bowl picks?
Let's do our Super Bowl picks, and
Let's
then we'll
do
come
Super Bowl
back
picks.
around for
Okay.
the other people that have joined the show. But
Drew,
we're
you
not
gonna
going to
kick
say
us
the
off?
questions again. We're just going to shout them out here. So
There you go.
go ahead, Rod. What do you think?
I mean, even if Mahomes wasn't hurt, I'm still gonna go with the Eagles, just because you've always got to pick the dominant trenches on both sides of the line. The Eagles have a decided advantage there, and I think they're a more complete team. Mahomes is not going to be as hurt, but still not 100%. So I look for this to be Eagles probably by 10 to 14 points.
Wow. Okay. Follow that up, Drew.
All right, so I don't know if you guys remember, but I have a list, number 1 through 32, of where I rank every team on my hatred of that team or my like of that team. And this quite possibly could be one of the worst scenarios of a Super Bowl in my 1 to 32 list. In fact, for this season, as far as teams that actually made it to the playoffs that had a chance, this is the worst scenario. These are all in the bottom 26 teams. Both of these teams are. Kansas City Chiefs are lower on my scale, coming in at number 27, I believe.
Yeah, they took a Super Bowl away
28.
from you a couple of years ago.
28, right? Yeah, they bumped themselves
15.
down a lot. So I hope and I think the Eagles are going to win it, being the lesser of the two evils, in my opinion. The reason why I think the Eagles can win it is because they had the number 2 defense. Although the Chiefs destroyed the number 1 defense, if you recall. That's when we had our backup quarterback being the 49ers, and not the backup that was the good quarterback, but the backup quarterback, which was better than the starting quarterback. That's a whole nother story altogether. And not to be confused with the backup who got a concussion in our playoff game and is the reason why we're not in the Super Bowl. Again, not to be confusing here. But yeah, I think that the Eagles come out on top of this one. I agree with your comments. They're the more complete team. They've got an offense to go with their defense. I don't think the Chiefs have a defense to go with their offense. So offense to offense, if it was no defense on the field, I would give the Chiefs the win. But, defense wins championships, and that's what this is all about. So I'm giving the Eagles a win. I don't think it's going to be that big. I'm going to go 37-35 here on the score. I think it's going to be a little closer. And the reason why I picked 37-35 is because of my favorite topic from the past 3 weeks of the NFL has been that the games are rigged. And I saw that someone released that was the scripted score was 37-35, Eagles winning. So I have to say that's what it's going to be. Truth be told, I would have picked like 35-21 or something. But since that was released, I gotta say it, right?
Yeah.
Because we got to buy in with the NFL being scripted, just like everybody else is.
So I've gone back and forth. With this matchup. I really feel that this is going to come down to who can throw the ball. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be really close to 100%. I know that he has a high ankle sprain, and y'all remember when I had my high ankle sprain, but I didn't have the type of therapy, the acupuncture and the hypobaric chambers and, all this stuff that Patrick Mahomes has. And I just don't trust Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. Obviously, I know that he's improved a tremendous amount this year, but I still remember Calvin Ridley running across the middle on a slant wide open and Jalen Hurts tucking it for 8 yards. So I really think that if the Chiefs can keep Hurts in the pocket with the likes of Playoff Frank, as Kevin Franz told me today, Playoff Frank, and the rookie on the other edge, I can never remember his name. I called him Snuffleupagus today, but I think his name is like Karlaftis or something like that. And then with big Chris Jones in the middle, I think they're going to have a really tough time running the ball. They keep him in the pocket. They keep the running back that I can never remember his name from Penn State. What's his name? You know who?
Oh, yeah, I know. Sanders.
Miles Sanders. Yeah. If they can keep him at like 3.2, 3.5 yards a carry, I really don't think that A.J. Brown's going to be able to get enough catches to make that difference. And I know that people don't think the Chiefs have a running game, but this Pacheco kid is silencing a lot of non-believers, rocking the Tyreek Hill jersey number. And Travis Kelce is going to have a big game. Nobody can stop Travis Kelce. So just like I did when you, Drew, Rod, and Eric were all non-believers, remember? All three of you said that the Cincinnati Bungles would be in the Super Bowl, and I was the only Chief pick. I guess I'm the only Chief pick again tonight. And I'll say it's going to be really high scoring. I think it's going to be closer than what Rod's thinking, but not. Oh, Kevin just tuned in. Kevin just tuned in. Hopefully you heard me, Kevin. I picked your Chiefs. I'm going to go with 42-35, something like that. And I know there'll be some field goals. There'll be some crazy stuff that happens.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
Make it easy, though.
Yeah, we'll make it easy.
He's got like Chiefs radar. He came in right there.
He did.
So I've got
38,
something
34.
here. I'm gonna cement this in history, and I was hoping Kevin Friends wouldn't join because he's gonna be upset by this news. If you two are right, if you're correct, this will make Patrick Mahomes the next Tom Brady.
Without a doubt. I mean, I was actually talking about this with a Chiefs fan the other day who thought Chris Jones had a bad season. So, whoa, that kind of changed the landscape of our conversation. But what I said was Patrick Mahomes is a D4 jumping off sides away from being in another Super Bowl that was against the Rams, if I'm correct, where the Patriots beat the Rams.
Yep.
And both teams played like trash. Mahomes would have absolutely dominated that Rams secondary.
Right.
So then that gives you another Super Bowl. My only reservation about the Kansas City Chiefs is this. You all know I'm a huge Steeler fan, and the Steelers have 6 rings. The 49ers have 5 rings.
Correct.
And, of course, the Patriots have 6 rings, and Brady has 7. So the only reason why I would not want the Chiefs to win at anything is just because I'm scared of them. That
But
they're
that's
going to beat my Steelers with 6 Super Bowls.
but that's
So
the whole
that's
thing.
the wrong reason to root against Patrick Mahomes, who was an absolute warrior in that Bucs Super Bowl. When Tyreek Hill let the ball bang off his helmet, when Travis Kelce dropped a ball that was right in his arms for a touchdown in the fourth quarter, and Kevin can chime in on the other one where he ran for his life and then threw a strike on the left side of the end zone that was dropped. So that's where I started buying Patrick Mahomes underoos right there. That guy earned all my respect. I know that's what he's looking for, but he's got it.
But that's the thing. Like you making all these comments, all of a sudden that's what it's going to turn into, right? Is that first off, Andy Reid, in my opinion, is a better coach than Bill Belichick, and it's proven now.
He's a great coach.
Like, I don't understand why the Eagles got rid of him. That was the dumbest mistake ever. I want to say it's because they just don't like Wilford Brimley and diabetes. That's the only reason that they couldn't like him. I don't know what the deal was there, but like, to me, he should be the most sought after coach ever, right? I mean, at this point, again, I think he's a better coach than Belichick. And with that Reid and Mahomes dynamic, it's just going to parallel to that. And the reason why I say it's bad news, it's not good news. It's bad news because people are going to begin to hate him more than they already don't like him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, given this season, we haven't heard much from his wife and brother, but those things aren't helping him, right? But yeah, if he wins the Super Bowl this year, there's going to be that talk, and it's going to be, more of it's rigged. Since Tom Brady retired, they had to have somebody to replace it, and blah 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 blah. Y'all can just get ready for it if he wins. And I think it's just going to be sheer hatred. Although I will say, my son, who seems to be, really in tune with the whole, NFL, he seems to think that Joe Burrow is the next hated quarterback. The guy that it's like, I don't like him, and you have no reason to not like him. Joe Burrow's his guy.
It's easier to hate just because Joe Burrow has that moxie about him. He has that.
Oh yeah,
that Joe Namath type of deal to him. So he would relish the role of being an antagonist more than, Mahomes just doesn't come off as that type of guy.
That's right.
Yeah. Mahomes is like, I want to pinch his cheeks, like I just think he's an awesome guy, like he's just likable, right? But Joe Burrow, yeah, he's the heel of the company, I feel like, in that position. Anyway, unfortunately, the Bengals are always the underdogs, so there's that aspect. If he didn't get sacked 27 times a game, people probably would already start hating him. But you kind of got to feel bad for him that, they have that paper line up there to block, he has to count 3 Mississippi and throw the ball like we did in Pee Wee when we didn't have anybody blocking over 80 pounds in front of us.
Like the flag football game last night. Or going back to Zeke Elliott
as your center.
We're going back to Zeke Elliott.
Yep. Zeke Elliott, my 80-pound center. All right, here we go. One of my best friends growing up, I remember playground football. Like he was always committed to me. He's like, because I was pretty fast. I was a pretty fast kid, and he was committed to me, and he liked me in the backfield, and I hated it because I felt like Zeke was out there blocking for me in front of me. He's just got this kid up there, just gonna let this giant kid sit on my head. That's what I want. Yep, right there. I know what you feel like, Dak Prescott. I feel your pain.
All right. Well, I know it's going to be a great game, regardless of who wins. So
it will be.
You know what I'm looking most forward to? The Pepsi commercials.
With Peyton Manning?
Yeah, with Peyton Manning in them. Yeah.
Shout out to
Guy Moore runs back a kick this week. But will there be a block in the back?
Oh.
Will it be a block in the back that's like called?
Yeah, because if it doesn't get called, it was part of the script.
That's
right?
true. That's true. That's
It's supposed
right.
to be. Right. Kevin got the script in advance. That's how he knows.
Yeah, we were talking about that in pregame. You know, referees out there who are watching the show, if a player goes like this, that means they're guilty. Throw the flag.
Right.
Make up what they did. I'm sure they did both, holding and blocking the back. So just call one.
Well,
so Drew,
you know,
like you said it was scripted in 37-35. So you're saying that they've, in the wrestling term, they've already decided the Eagles are going over, right?
Right. The Eagles are going over. Now that script is subject to change, right? In the middle of the game.
Shout out to Vince McMahon on that one, right?
Vince just gets to pick the winner of the game. Sometimes they don't get to execute their finisher because they tear a bicep or something like that. You never can tell. So 37-35 is what we got planned for the Super Bowl this weekend. Which, by the way, it is Chiefs on top at halftime, and then the Eagles mount the comeback. If y'all were curious as to how the
Will the
script
lights
played
go
out.
out? 10-year anniversary of that.
Too soon.
So, which, by the way, if I nail this spot on, like
he won't even respond to you, Ron.
No,
I'm not. I'm done. What'd you say? I'm sorry. I actually missed it.
No, he said 10-year anniversary. Will the lights go off in this one?
No. You know what? That one, like, it's funny to me. The Chiefs loss hurt me. It did. It really did. Like, I'm irate about that one to this day. But the Ravens, like, I went into that Super Bowl knowing we were going to lose that one. I mean, just because the brother versus brother dynamic, like, we were done. Harbaugh had never beat his brother. So, like, I'm just, it was like I already knew we were losing that one. So, like, I'd set myself up for that loss. The Chiefs one, though, I thought we were winning, and we obviously didn't win
a while on that one.
Yeah.
And then Garoppolo
it's the story of my
wide
life.
open receivers, so y'all could win the game, but
And not to mention a couple of tipped balls that could have been caught, in my opinion, happened in that game as well. But you're playing corner because you can't catch. If you could catch, you'd be a wide receiver, right?
Yep.
That one of those wasn't from Tart, right?
No. He reserved that one for the NFC Championship last year. Jeez Louise. That was bad. I mean,
the Mahomes.
So Kevin, I 100% agree with you that 50% of penalties are not called. But, man, they just, like, the most inopportune time to miss a call. I mean, because we were talking about that earlier. If that block in the back is called, that's a 39-yard difference. And
I can solve the problem. I can 100% solve the problem, but nobody's calling me up to fix the NFL officiating problem. Okay, you've got coaches that are full-time. You got players that are full-time. You got commentators that are full-time. And you've got idiots out there in black and white shirts that are bagging groceries on the weekends before their game on Sunday. Why do we have part-time refs in the NFL?
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, I know you're drinking that red and white Kool-Aid, red and yellow, whatever your colors are, but you didn't have the Patrick Mahomes that you had against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs in, I guess it was 2022, right? So you didn't have that guy. You weren't moving the ball in the second half like you were against the Buffalo Bills. So I really don't think, what'd you have, 27 seconds? That you're going to go that far and then get in range for a guy who looked like he missed the 45-yarder in Butker. I mean, talk about a guy who misses some kicks that he should make. I'd be nervous if you were kicking a 55-yarder to win that game. But, of course, it could have gone into overtime, and who knows what happens in overtime. But, I mean, you did change the rules of overtime because of that Bills game. So who knows what happens. But we had a guy who ran a 20-yard run and took a hit. We had a guy who ran a 20-yard run and took a hit. So I've forgotten that. That's my 45-year-old brain. Kevin, help us out.
He's
lady?
just high and mighty.
When you don't
Mahomes.
know, just say Mahomes, baby.
Exactly.
I just got a feeling that I mean,
It's like
he's
when
gonna
you're
be
in church
running,
and you don't know the answer, just say Jesus.
Yep.
You know, you can't ever be
that
wrong.
Eagles defensive line and that pass rush. I think we're underrating that.
Yeah, that
I
Hassan
don't.
guy is a stud on the edge,
Mhm.
no question.
He's a full believer in the Mahomes magic.
But you would have started 39 yards behind where that drive started. That's the difference.
Nah, it would have went into overtime at that point. And
Yeah.
so, and then at that point, it's just like,
Well, like momentum shifts so fast whenever it comes to stuff like that. You really have no idea what would have happened because your next play is not the same next play, right? I mean, yeah, you're right that if you know we play it out like they played it, then it's a 55-yard field goal. But okay, well, timeout. Let's back up. We're not going to get in a position to kick a 55-yard field goal. Who knows? They could have put in the running back as a center and then tried to play some hook and lateral stuff and just got him creamed.
Zeke,
and then we would have been
never gonna
making
get
fun
over that one.
of him.
That is true.
So Craig, go.
All right. So since Kevin joined, I'll give him one more shot. He's a big NBA guy. So there was one player, let's just say he played for the Charlotte Hornets, and his jersey is the only jersey retired by the Charlotte Hornets. Oh man, he's still chiefing it up over here. Who was that player? I'll give you 30 seconds, Kevin, but you won't get it. So we'll move on. So the answer to that question is Bobby Phills.
Yes.
Bobby Phills.
And of course, me and Drew, we tagged to get that answer. Because obviously most people are going to think Alonzo Mourning or Larry Johnson. But then we started thinking about, well, I mean, who else would have even been worthy as a Hornet to have a jersey to be retired?
Right.
You know, so then you start thinking about, well, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, posthumously may have had their jersey retired. So, and then Drew, you automatically thought, well, wait a minute, who's the guy that died in the car accident, right?
That's exactly.
And so then I was like, oh, Bobby Phills.
That's right. So he actually died in January of 2000, and his jersey was retired in February of that same year.
So a month later.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And when I was just doing a little bit of research, just to add some verbiage to this, I also saw that Drazen Petrovic, his jersey was retired. He died in a car accident
in 93 for the Nets.
That's exactly right.
Was a great shooter.
That's right. And Reggie Lewis, like you said, Rod.
That was the first person I thought about was Reggie Lewis.
That's right.
For Boston.
And now, granted, Reggie Lewis could have had a career that caused his jersey to go up into the rafters, but
I
from
mean,
what he had done
he was really
so
on
far,
his second year of being an all-star.
Right, exactly. So the second question was, we know that Tom Brady was the 199th pick of the 2000 NFL draft. Name the six quarterbacks that were drafted before him.
And these are some major Hall of Famers.
Major.
Right?
Some amazing guys.
As a hint for those that are still out there, the first quarterback drafted was the number 18 pick in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So if that goes to show you how many great quarterbacks there were.
So my guesses were obviously Joe Namath, and you know what?
Kenny Stabler, right?
What's that?
You say Kenny Stabler, right?
Yeah, Kenny Stabler. 2 years difference, but
yeah,
whatever.
Bart Starr was on there. Throw him in there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did say Kenny Stabler instead of Joe Namath.
You did.
That was my pregame antics.
So shout out to Brent Keating for giving me this question.
All right.
And I'm proud to say that I actually knew two of them off the top of my head. He did give me the teams, which helped because one of them was a Steeler. But the first one was Chad Pennington at number 18 to the Jets. The second one was Giovanni Carmazzi, the 65th.
I had no clue on that one.
That's the only one of them I knew.
That was the one that I knew. And Mr. Irrelevance 1 through 6, exactly. Day one.
No
doubt.
We let Mr. Irrelevant start and take us to the playoffs. I'm just saying.
That's exactly right. This one I didn't get. I came up with the college that he went to, but I still couldn't come up with it, and that was the one and only Chris Redmond.
Chris Redmond from Louisville.
75th pick from Louisville.
I don't even know how you
to the
came
Ravens.
up with that one.
Then the one that I got was T. Martin from Tennessee.
That was one of the first one. That was actually,
That was the 163rd pick. And then you had, by the New Orleans Saints, Mark Bulger.
I definitely,
which everybody remembers Mark Bulger as a Ram.
As a Ram as opposed to Saints.
That's exactly right. And then number 183 was one, I'll probably mispronounce his name because I didn't look it up, because it's just another quarterback name on the back of that Cleveland Brown jersey that y'all have seen that lists like all 25 quarterbacks that they've had since like 1995 or whatever it is. That would be Spurgeon Wynn.
Yeah. That was the two that I would have never in a million years heard of was the second quarterback that you mentioned in this one.
I think there should be a rule that the Cleveland Browns should no longer be allowed to draft a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that should just be a thing. Like, you should only – like, certain teams should only be allowed to draft quarterbacks from now on. Like, and that's one. You're wasting that position, Cleveland. Stop drafting them.
Bad.
Think about how much talent they have had. I'm talking top caliber SEC quarterbacks like Freddie Kitchens. Sorry, I couldn't say that without laughing. But seriously, they have had some good people that they've drafted that they've just kind of like went to the wayside.
They had the number 1 pick.
Brady Quinn.
They drafted Tim Couch
out of Kentucky.
Tim Couch, absolute gunslinger at Kentucky, and didn't translate to the NFL.
Y'all remember that? It's not that he didn't translate to the NFL. He translated perfectly to being a Brown. Like, if there was ever a team that their mascot could be Browns, it's them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Juju Smith-Schuster for his derogatory comment when we were going to play the Browns in the playoffs. He said the Browns is the Browns, and they beat us.
Yeah.
And he left to go to Kansas City, where he won't be playing in the Super Bowl, I understand. So if the Chiefs, sorry to flip back, if the Chiefs are to win this game, they'll be doing it with their number 1 receiver being a bust from the Green Bay Packers. I'm not talking about tight end, right? I'm talking about wide receiver. Valdez Scantling. That's right. Because Juju's out, Hardman's out. So you have Valdez, Scantling, and some rookie that Kevin told me about. And maybe Sky Moore. Maybe they'll throw him in there. We'll see. So
if Mahomes wins the Super Bowl, as far as active quarterbacks go, he'll be tied for number 2 with the most rings, right? Now there's one that's got y'all thinking, because y'all are like, wait, Tom Brady retired. Who's number 1 that he's tying with?
That's a great question now.
We know it's Russell Wilson.
It's the has one. Stupidest ever trivia in the world.
We're talking about a quarterback?
Yeah.
Does he start?
Define start.
Wait, does Joe Flacco have 2? No, he just has 1.
No,
right?
he just has the one.
Just the one.
He caught lightning in the bottle.
That's right.
Or more like a defense in the bottle.
You said define start.
Maybe that should be our trivia question next week.
I think
As baffled
so.
as you guys
Yeah,
are.
I think so. I think so.
I think so. Anybody out there? Kevin, you got an answer? All right, let's roll it. Let's roll it. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention when I started my segment, Uncle Joe's Trivia, that we now have a sponsor. We now have a sponsor for a $25 gift card. So if you don't cheat, right, of course, this is the honor system, and you comment with the right answer, then you'll win a $25 gift card from my good friend Mark Acuff at Birmingham Mortgage.
There we go.
If nobody wins, then we press that to the next month. So then it becomes a $50 gift card. And since we have domestic as well as international listeners, this will be an Amazon gift card, so it can be used anywhere in the world.
And as hard as these trivias are becoming, they could almost get like the Mega Millions at some point.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. If we treat it like bar trivia and not cheat, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. All right, Drew.
Y'all still aren't getting the NFL quarterback with the most rings now that Tom Brady's retired.
I'm going to have to really think about that one.
And you said he'd be tied with 2.
Yeah. Mahomes will be tied with 2 with this quarterback.
I have to think.
Man, that is a good one.
Yeah, it really is.
About it.
Once y'all realize who it is, y'all would be like, "Oh, that's so stupid. Shut up."
Oh man! All right, so don't cheat, Rod. I won't cheat. And
I'll have to spend some time thinking about it though.
Yes, definitely. All right, Drew. Well, it's 10-18.
Oh,
yeah. Ouch, Brent.
Boy.
Ouch. He is
Brent got it.
correct. That's right.
Yes.
With the Patriots.
Yes.
Wow. All right, guys. I'm about to do something crazy off script. Brent Keating just won the gift card. What do y'all think? Because I know Brent Keating did not cheat. Brent Keating did not cheat. He just won a $25
I don't know how
gift
you
card.
can cheat at that trivia question. Like, I don't even know how it would be possible to
Got
cheat
that
at
one. I give it up to him.
I mean, I think it's worth it. I for sure do.
Yeah.
I know, Drew. He should have 3, in your opinion.
Brent said roll it.
I picked the Niners in that game too. I thought,
Brent doesn't want the $25 gift card.
He wants to roll something big.
Okay,
he's going to be Mega Millions winner.
Yes. Heck, maybe we'll roll it to next week, $50.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's do it. Mark's got it. He can front that money.
That's right.
$25 a week. He can do it.
He's rolling.
That's it. All right, Drew, it's 10:20. Sign us off.
I never do. It's not my job.
All right, Rod.
Crago, you know this is you. You know what to do at this point.
Well, we appreciate y'all. I think we had quite a few views today, people coming in and out. We don't care. If you come in, you stay for a while, you come in, you just check us out. But definitely give us a follow, right? You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify. You can find us on Facebook. Obviously, Facebook Live is where we are some days. Some days we're not, but normally it'll be at 8:30, and we'll let you know on the Facebook page when that is. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, where we had a trivia question that got 15,000 likes. What am I missing? YouTube, pretty much every social media, even Clapper? Isn't that what you said, Andrew? Clapper, whatever that is?
I don't know. I don't know if we're on there or not.
Okay, all right.
I get confused.
We had a great time. We appreciate all the engagement. Let's keep that going. You can see this is an interactive podcast. Heck, we're going for coming up on our second hour. So, we like to have fun with it, and glad you're sticking around for it. And remember, Patrick Hape will be here next week.
Yes, sir.
For those of y'all that don't know Patrick Hape, he played at Alabama and also had an 8-year career with the Broncos and the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yep.
So we'll be talking to him about his career and his time at Alabama. And there's some interesting things that we'll learn about Patrick Hape next week. So make sure you tune in. But until then, like us, follow us, do all that cool stuff on social media, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.